When you think about remodeling a home or building a new one from the ground up, your mind immediately goes to the glamorous stuff.
Oh, absolutely. The fun stuff.
Right. You picture the waterfall kitchen island or the freestanding soaking tub or those massive floor-to-ceiling windows.
Yeah, the things you actually put on a vision board.
Exactly. But then there is this stuff we just walk all over.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, we tend to treat the driveway like it's just this static gray welcome mat for our cars.
Which is a huge mistake.
It is, because when you start looking at the environment, especially in a place like California, that flat slab of material is actually a battleground.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, it is out there 24/7, fighting extreme UV rays, baking heat, shifting earth, and, strict water regulations all at the same time.
It's basically a highly active piece of infrastructure that's just, masquerading as a simple path to your garage.
Right.
Making a misstep out there doesn't just impact curb appeal. It triggers this whole domino effect of hidden costs.
Which is why we are so excited to welcome you to a special deep dive into CLA builders today.
Yeah, we've got a really great stack of sources for this one.
We do. We are unpacking some highly practical intel from this premier Los Angeles general contractor. We have their background. They operate under license number 1156496, by the way. And we are looking really closely at a breakdown their founder wrote titled Best Driveway Materials for California Homes.
It's a very specific, very necessary topic.
It is. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to figure out how to navigate one of the most expensive and honestly most permanent decisions you can make for California property.
Right, without falling into those traps that will just drain your wallet 10 years down the line.
Exactly, because the stakes are surprisingly high for a horizontal surface.
They really are. I mean, a driveway in California isn't just a place to park. As you said, it's a frontline defense.
Yeah.
It interacts directly with that extreme UV exposure, the constant threat of seismic activity, and severe drought conditions, too.
Which people don't even associate with driveways usually.
Right. But making the wrong choice here means a cascading series of maintenance nightmares over the life of the home.
Okay, but before we get into the actual materials and the mechanics of all this, we need to talk about the source of this advice.
Yeah, context is everything here.
Definitely. I generally look at construction advice the same way I look at cooking advice,
Okay, how so?
Well, I don't really want a recipe from a food critic who just eats the meal. I want advice from the chef who actually chops the onions and, burns their hands on the stove.
That makes total sense. The blueprint is only as reliable as the builder who drew it. And the founder of Cala Builders, Shaheen Adarafi, he represents that chef in your analogy.
He's actually chopping the onions.
Exactly. He has over 10 years of hands-on experience building in Los Angeles. The sources note his scope includes hillside construction on technically challenging lots.
Which, if you know LA, is no joke.
Oh, it's incredibly complex. He also does custom luxury homes from the ground up, and he has a heavy presence in the ADU space.
And just for anyone who hasn't been obsessively following the Los Angeles housing market, ADUs are those accessory dwelling units.
Right, the granny flats.
Yeah, attached or detached granny flats, junior units, garage conversions. They are completely reshaping LA backyards right now.
They're everywhere. Plus, he does commercial build-outs, handling everything from restaurants to ADA compliance.
So he really understands the strict accessibility regulations of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah, it's a massive scope. But the defining factor here is that CALA operates across Los Angeles, Pasadena, the San Fernando Valley, and Santa Monica as a design-build firm.
Meaning they do the whole thing under one roof.
Exactly. They handle everything from the initial architectural 3D rendering all the way to the final walkthrough.
Wow.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Shaheen started this company to solve a chronic problem in the local construction scene.
What was the problem?
Clients were constantly getting handed off to project managers who had never actually held a tool.
Oh, wow. I can see how that turns into a disaster pretty fast.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, if the person managing the project doesn't deeply understand the physical work, how do they know if a plumber's estimate makes sense?
They don't.
Right. They just don't. You end up with vague estimates, unclear timelines, and massive cost overruns. So what does this all mean for the client?
Well, because Shaheen has worked every trade hands-on, he catches those cascading problems before they happen.
Like anticipating a bottleneck.
Yeah, exactly. He knows exactly how long a framing job should take or what an electrical hiccup actually means for the timeline.
That is huge for a homeowner's peace of mind.
It is. And the sources also point out that at 33, with a young family, he brings a very practical empathy to these residential projects.
He gets it.
Yeah, he is building homes for families while actively building one himself.
Armed with that perspective, the perspective of a hands-on builder, let's get into the actual materials.
Let's do.
Because I feel like any homeowner looking at a massive exterior project is going to ask the exact same question first.
What's the cheapest option?
Exactly. What is the absolute cheapest option?
Well, on paper, the cheapest option is asphalt.
Okay.
The upfront cost sits around $6 to $13 per square foot installed.
That's pretty low.
It is, but the timeline is the catch. In California, an asphalt driveway generally only survives about 15 to 20 years.
Okay, I have to stop you there because the math feels confusing to me.
How so?
Well, if asphalt is the cheapest upfront, why isn't everyone in Los Angeles just pouring asphalt and using the 20 grand they saved to pay for, I don't know, a luxury kitchen remodel?
Right. It sounds tempting.
It does. But to me, putting an asphalt driveway in LA feels like leaving a chocolate bar on your dashboard in July.
That is a very vivid image.
Right. It doesn't snap. It just perpetually softens and deforms. What is actually happening to that material in the California heat?
The chocolate bar analogy actually perfectly captures the mechanism.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Asphalt is inherently flexible because it's an aggregate bound together by petroleum-based materials. So in cooler climates like the Northeast, that flexibility is a massive advantage.
Because of the snow.
Because of the freezing. When the ground freezes and thaws, the earth heaves. The asphalt flexes with that movement instead of snapping.
Oh, I see. But we don't have freeze-thaw cycles in Los Angeles.
Oh, we definitely do not.
We have prolonged triple-digit heat.
Which turns that exact same flexibility into a serious liability.
Oh, wow.
The intense heat softens the surface of the asphalt. It never truly sets hard in the way other materials do.
So it's always just a little bit gooey.
Essentially, yeah. So when you park your car in the exact same spot every day, the sheer weight of the tires pressing into that softened, viscous surface, it causes ruts and indentations.
Wait, really? Just from parking?
Just from parking, you are slowly sinking into your own driveway.
That is wild. So the heat literally changes the physical state of the surface?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the sun itself is doing damage beyond just the temperature, right?
Oh, absolutely. The severe UV exposure bakes the vital oils right out of the asphalt.
Like drying out skin.
Very much like that. It causes the material to dry out, become brittle, and fade from a rich black to a dusty, pale gray very rapidly.
I've definitely seen those gray, cracked driveways around town.
Yeah, that's UV damage.
Yeah.
Because those oils evaporate in the sun, the driveway demands a new seal coat every 3 to 5 years just to keep the aggregate from crumbling apart.
Jeez. So you save a few $1,000s on day one, but you are signing up for a subscription service of maintenance.
Exactly.
Just constant seal coating and eventual early replacement.
Yep. Unless your property is heavily shaded by, like, massive oak trees or your initial budget is completely unyielding. Asphalt is just a weak fit for the California environment.
It struggles against the elements.
Yeah.
Okay, so if asphalt melts and deforms out there, I feel like homeowners inevitably panic pivot to the exact opposite.
The hardest thing they can find.
Yes, the hardest, most unyielding thing possible, which means they pour concrete.
The standard.
Right. Concrete costs a bit more upfront, ranging from $8 to $20 per square foot.
Yes, slightly higher.
But the lifespan jumps to an impressive 25 to 30 plus years with just basic sealing. And crucially, it offers excellent performance in hot weather.
It doesn't soften.
No, it doesn't soften, it doesn't warp, and it certainly doesn't rut under the weight of an SUV.
It provides the stability that asphalt lacks, for sure.
Right.
And, you know, for high-end properties, concrete doesn't have to be a boring, flat, gray slab.
That was going to be my next question. Does it just look like a sidewalk?
Not at all. Through the design-build process, it's highly customizable. Contractors use stamped concrete or exposed aggregate finishes.
Oh, to make it look fancy.
Yeah, to mimic the high-end look of natural stone or pavers, but at a lower price point than the real thing. It can be tinted, textured, shaped to fit almost any architectural style.
But wait, I have to play devil's advocate here.
Go for it.
I see cracked concrete all over LA.
Oh, sure.
If it is so durable against the heat, why does almost every concrete driveway in my neighborhood look like a jigsaw puzzle?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. Because if I am paying for a luxury custom-stamped driveway, a massive crack down the middle is going to ruin that aesthetic immediately.
Yeah, you are identifying the major vulnerability of a solid slab in this specific geographic region.
The earthquakes.
Earthquakes are part of it. California is famous for earthquakes, but an even more persistent threat to concrete is expansive soil.
Expansive soil.
Yeah, the state has a high concentration of clay in its soil.
Okay.
When it rains, that clay acts like a sponge, absorbing water and swelling up.
Oh, I see.
And then when we go into our long dry seasons, the clay dries out completely and shrinks.
So it creates tiny voids under the driveway.
Exactly.
The ground under the concrete is basically constantly breathing, rising, and falling with the seasons.
Spot on. And concrete is entirely rigid. It has incredible compressive strength.
Meaning it can hold massive amounts of heavy weight pushing down on it.
Right. But it has very poor tensile strength.
Meaning it can't bend.
It cannot bend, stretch, or flex at all. So when the clay soil beneath it shrinks and leaves a void, the heavy concrete has nothing supporting it.
So it just snaps.
It simply snaps under its own weight, or the weight of a car driving over that empty void.
Okay, but can't you just patch it? I mean, you see people filling those cracks with fresh cement all the time.
You can fill the crack, sure, but the fresh patch will almost never perfectly match the color or texture of the sun-faded, aged concrete around it.
Oh, right, because the rest of it has been baking in the sun for 5 years.
Exactly. The critical warning highlighted in the sources is that when concrete cracks, it is incredibly difficult to repair invisibly. The patches stand out glaringly against the original surface.
It's like putting a bright white fabric patch on the knee of a tailored suit.
That's a great way to put it.
You save the suit from tearing further, but now everyone is just staring at the patch.
Yeah, it completely defeats the purpose of investing in a luxury finish.
It forces homeowners to choose between ignoring the structural damage or ruining the visual appeal.
Exactly, which is why the industry has shifted heavily toward a premium option, one engineered specifically to move with the ground rather than fighting against it.
Here is where it gets really interesting. Pavers.
Yeah, pavers are a game changer.
The facts on pavers are pretty wild.
Yeah.
This is the highest upfront cost, coming in at $12 to $30 per square foot.
It's definitely an investment.
But the lifespan is a massive 40-plus years with very minimal maintenance. Usually you are just occasionally sweeping some new sand into the joints.
Pretty much. And according to a source from Pacific Paving Stone, about 40% of new driveway installations in Southern California now use interlocking paving stones.
Almost half. That adoption rate is staggering.
It is. Neighborhoods are shifting that way because of strict HOA regulations, desires to preserve historic neighborhood character, and just the sheer longevity of the material.
Okay, so I look at a solid concrete slab, like a rigid pane of glass. If you put pressure on the center of a pane of glass where there is no support beneath it, it shatters.
Right.
But a paver driveway is more like a chainmail shirt.
Oh, I like that.
It is made of hundreds of individual pieces linked together. One shatters under pressure, but the other flexes and absorbs it.
The chainmail analogy perfectly describes the underlying mechanics.
Because they aren't just glued down.
No, you aren't just placing heavy stones on top of dirt. You are building a deeply integrated, flexible system.
How does it work?
Well, the pavers sit on a carefully compacted, multi-layered bed of gravel and bedding sand, and the joints between the individual pavers are also filled with specialized sand.
Okay.
Those sand-filled joints basically act like microscopic hinges.
Oh, wow. So when that clay soil expands during a massive winter storm, or when a minor tremor rolls through the valley, the driveway actually ripples with the earth.
Exactly. The individual stones micro-adjust to the movement. They can tilt fractions of a millimeter without transferring the braking stress to the adjacent stones.
That's fascinating.
That is why the system doesn't crack like a rigid pane of glass. But, the structural integrity is really only half the equation.
What's the other half?
The utility for a homeowner over a 40-year lifespan is where the value really compounds.
Right, because you get the ultimate custom look with endless colors, shapes, and textures to create intricate borders or sweeping curves.
Aesthetically, it's unmatched.
But what happens if a stone actually does break? Or, more likely in an older Los Angeles home, what happens if the main plumbing line running under the driveway bursts?
Oh, that's the best part. With concrete, you have to bring in a jackhammer, destroy the driveway, fix the pipe, and then pour a mismatched patch over it.
A total nightmare.
But with pavers, you simply lift out the specific stones in that area.
Just pop them right out.
Yeah. You fix the utility line beneath, re-level the bedding sand, and put the exact same stones right back into place. It is a completely seamless repair.
You never even know the ground was disturbed.
Exactly.
When you factor in that ease of repair, the 40-year lifespan, and the curb appeal, the return on investment starts to make a lot of sense despite that high initial price tag.
It really does. Pavers solve the earthquake problem and the aesthetic problem all at once.
Yeah.
But the sources reveal they also solve a uniquely Californian environmental crisis.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the financial bonus of permeable pavers.
The facts on permeability completely reframe the purpose of a driveway for me.
It's a totally different way of thinking about it.
Because permeable pavers are installed with slightly wider joints and a specific underlying stone matrix that allows rainwater to soak right through the driveway into the ground.
Right.
Instead of the water running off the concrete, flooding the street, and overloading the city storm drains, the earth simply drinks it up.
It's brilliant.
And the California State Water Resources Control Board actively encourages them to help with statewide water management.
The environmental impact is massive. I mean, a typical solid driveway creates hundreds of gallons of runoff during a storm.
That just goes straight into the ocean, usually carrying motor oil with it.
Exactly. Permeable systems keep that water on your property, naturally filtering out pollutants through the crushed stone base and actually recharging the local groundwater supply.
Let's talk about the homeowner's wallet, though.
Let's do it.
Because it's great to help the local water table, but how often does an eco-friendly home improvement actually get the local government to lower your bills?
Well, what's fascinating here is that many California cities understand the municipal value of this so deeply that they offer stormwater fee reductions or actual financial credits for homeowners who install permeable driveways.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you are taking the burden off the city's aging infrastructure, and they compensate you for it over time.
That is incredible. It is an investment that literally pays you back while keeping your property from turning into a swamp during heavy rains.
Exactly. And, if we view this through the lens of CLA Builder's core philosophy, it connects perfectly back to Shaheen Adarafi's approach. A great build doesn't just look good in a glossy portfolio photograph. It actively enhances long-term value, anticipates the harsh realities of the environment, and solves complex local problems.
It has to actually function in the real world.
Right. A permeable paver driveway is the physical embodiment of that mindset. It handles the blistering heat, it flexes with the earthquakes, and it actively manages the water table.
It really is a masterpiece of functional design. Well, we have covered a lot of ground today. Let's do a quick recap of the journey through these materials.
Sounds good.
We learned that asphalt might tempt you with a low upfront price tag, but it is a false bargain in the California heat.
Definitely a trap.
The material softens, the tires create ruts, the sun bakes out the oils, and you are left paying for constant seal coating.
Yep.
Concrete is the durable, heat-resistant standard that will survive for decades. But you have to accept the inevitable risk of highly visible, ugly cracks when the clay soil expands and contracts.
It's a trade-off.
But pavers, they offer unmatched flexibility, high-end aesthetics, and with permeable options, surprising environmental perks that can lower your municipal bills.
It really just comes down to choosing a material that works in harmony with the environment, rather than forcing a rigid or cheap material to survive in a hostile one.
And if you are in the Los Angeles area, whether you're in Pasadena, the Valley, or Santa Monica, and you are staring down an outdoor build, a massive home remodel, or navigating the red tape of an ADU, look up Cala Builders.
Yeah, having a local expert is key.
Getting that hands-on, multi-trade expertise from somebody who actually swings the hammer makes all the difference in catching hidden costs before they happen.
It absolutely separates a project that ages gracefully from one that quickly becomes a financial burden.
Well, before we wrap up this deep dive into the ground beneath our feet, I know you always have something for us to chew on. What is the final takeaway today?
Think about how we approach home design as a culture. We spend endless amounts of time, energy, and money designing the inside of our homes to reflect our personal tastes.
Oh, absolutely. We agonize over the color of the kitchen cabinets.
Right, or the finish on the light fixtures. But what if the very first thing we drive onto, the driveway, is actually the truest reflection of how we adapt to the natural world around us?
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, how much does the local soil, the beating sun, and the shifting earth dictate how we must build long before the very first drop of concrete is ever poured?
That is a great point. It makes you look at that flat rectangle outside your house in a whole new way.
It really does.
It's a battleground, but if you understand the mechanics, it's also a massive opportunity. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.